Greetings, patriots and comrades, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the Underconsumption Army. You'll find some oak bark toilet paper over there, and we just got some sticks in that will make excellent toothbrushes. Okay, so let's talk about living like you're a little bit poor, in a fun way. I live in Maine, and that's somewhat the way people think about it. They're just thrifty, you know. People, I grew up in Boston, and people were not this way, especially. And people here don't mind. They're thrilled about a bargain. There's a store called Martin's that they're nuts about. And they look at you in the small town I'm in rural Maine, a little funny if you drive a fancy car. You're going to stand away from them a little bit. And all of that's kind of good for the environment. They get big piles of wood delivered to keep them warm in the winter. And I also spend a fair bit of time up in Canada, in Quebec. And I'll tell you, the most charming thing I saw, one of the most charming things, was a bowling alley that was so out of the 1950s. It wasn't fancy. The lights weren't a big deal. It was a very old but clean bowling alley. And they even had a bar. You know what the bar was? The bar was a folding table with some drinks on it that you could buy. People walking around there having a great time. And, you know, when you think about it, that's kind of nice for our stress level and not working so hard. And it also means you're not renovating a fancy bowling alley all the time, which is probably good for the environment. So how do we get off the treadmill of consumerism and get back to a time when you lived more simply? I'm middle-aged, and when I was a kid, things that were a treat because you didn't get them very often. So a treat as a little kid, you know, middle class, was we would go to McDonald's or even better, a sit-down restaurant or something like that, but we didn't do it that often. And I feel like now a treat is to get on a plane and go to Disney World and spend a fortune. And that's just like, I don't know, I think, you know, tell me what you think, but I think you can be kind of as happy going to a local carnival if you don't know any better, frankly. So if we could all live a little bit more poor, I'm not going to say we would be more happy, but I wonder whether we could be a little bit more in tune with the environment. What do you think?